It started with the mirror. Not the rear view, just the one above the visor. The one I only flipped open to check if I looked too dead behind the eyes before the first ride. Some nights, I saw nothing. Other nights, I saw something sitting in the backseat, not clearly, not like a face, but the shape of someone who shouldn't be there. I'd turn around instinctively, just for a second. Nothing, always nothing, but every time I did, the car would shift slightly, like the suspension was adjusting, like weight was being redistributed. I told myself it was paranoia, fatigue. Driving 12-hour nights will do that to you. But then came the water. Each morning, the backseat would be damp. Not soaked, just enough to catch the light and make the leather shine like skin. I stopped leaving the windows open. I even parked in the underground garage. Still, the seat held onto the condensation like breath on glass. One morning, I found the seatbelt latched. I hadn't carried a passenger the entire night. I watched the dashcam footage. There was no pickup, no drop-off. But at 3:17 a.m., the timestamp glitched, and the audio picked up something faint, breathy, a shuffle. Then a whisper, "Don't forget me." I paused the footage, rewound, played it again. The whisper was mine, my voice, but I never said it. Not then, not ever. That was the first time I started keeping the passenger door locked. I told myself it was just a glitch, that maybe I was talking in my sleep, that I had driven too long, too quietly, and started answering thoughts that didn't belong to anyone. But the next night, at 3:18 a.m. sharp, the dashboard blinked, and the car, just for a second, tilted slightly to the left, like someone had just stepped inside, and stayed. The seatbelt clicked again last night. I didn't hear it, not exactly. It's not the kind of sound that breaks the silence. It threads into it, like something always meant to be there. I had just finished my third ride. A quiet man who didn't speak beyond thanks. He got out at a hotel downtown, and I swear I saw the backseat depress even after he left. The mirror caught something, just for a flash. A glint of silver, a reflection where no face should be. I pulled over, turned around, empty as always. But the belt was locked into place. I unlatched it with shaking hands. It was warm. Not from the sun. There hadn't been sun in days, but the kind of warmth that comes from breath, from blood. That night, I drove in silence. No podcasts, no music, just the hum of tires and the occasional blink of the signal. At 4:44 am, the dashcam turned itself on. It normally takes a manual press, but this time, the LED glowed red without me touching it. I reached for it, but then stopped. I wanted to see. In the footage, I wasn't driving. I was sitting in the back, head tilted slightly, eyes closed, lips moving, repeating something over and over. "You have to wake up now." I slammed the brakes. The footage cut out. The LED turned off. I was alone. Or I told myself I was. I looked at my hands. They were on the wheel. but they didn't feel like mine. My knuckles were too pale, the skin too smooth. My hands had calluses from years of gripping the wheel. These didn't. That's when I checked my phone. No recent messages, no calls, just one saved voicemail, dated 6 years ago. I had never noticed it before. It was only a few seconds long. My voice again, calm, tired. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fall asleep." The timestamp on the message, 3:18 am. The same minute, the same second I crashed my first car, the one I never remembered walking away from. I stopped checking the mirrors. Every time I looked, there was something new, something just out of frame. A flicker, a blur, a second too late to catch, but always there. The night after the voicemail, I sat in the car for hours without turning the engine on, just sitting, breathing, listening. And when I finally looked up, the backseat was fogged. Only the backseat. I reached behind me and wiped the glass with my sleeve. 5 streaks, finger width, as if someone had been watching. Pressed close, waiting for me to move. I drove, not because I had a destination, but because staying still felt worse. Every red light pulsed longer than it should. Every green light turned the second I blinked. It was as if the city had learned my rhythm and was trying to keep me in motion. At 3:18 am, as if on cue, the dashboard flickered and the seatbelt in the back clicked. I didn't stop this time. I just whispered, "Where did I go?" The mirror didn't answer, but I felt the car shift again, slightly left. And then the dash cam turned on without permission. The screen showed the interior, except it wasn't mine. Same seats, same layout, but the driver's face wasn't mine. It was familiar, exactly familiar, but slightly off, too symmetrical, too calm. He was driving in silence, eyes never blinking. The backseat behind him was empty. But I knew that was wrong, because I wasn't behind the wheel anymore. I was watching from behind. I leaned forward, not in the real car, in the footage. My old hand, reached toward the front seat. The driver didn't react, because he didn't need to. He already knew. He had always been there. I paused the dash cam, but the screen didn't freeze. It turned black. Then one line appeared in pale gray text. "You're not driving." I turned the ignition off, but the car didn't stop humming, because the car didn't need the key anymore, because maybe it never did. I tried staying home for 3 nights straight. I locked the car, unplugged the dash cam, took the keys to my room, and slept with the windows shut. But at exactly 3:18 am, I would wake up, always sitting in the driver's seat, engine humming low. The radio stuck between 2 frequencies, whispering nonsense. I never remembered walking out, never remembered the door unlocking, but I was always there. And each time, the back seat was fogged again, and the seatbelt already buckled. On the 4th night, I didn't fight it. I sat there, engine running, waiting. At 4:44 am, the voicemail played through the radio speakers. But it wasn't the one I heard before. It was longer and different. My voice, but older, slower. If you're hearing this, then you haven't figured it out. Or maybe you have, and you're trying to forget. Doesn't matter. You need to listen. I leaned closer. The voice continued. You're not dreaming. You're remembering. This route, this hour, this cold, none of it's real anymore. It's just residue. Silence for a second, then, do you want to know what happened? I didn't speak, but the car did. The windshield filled with static. And then an image, grainy, low-res dashcam footage of the night I crashed. The rain, the blinking lights, my hands loosening on the wheel, my eyes closing for just 1 second too long, the sound of metal folding inward. But what came next shouldn't exist. The footage kept going, past the crash, past the silence. The camera didn't cut out. It kept recording. Someone crawled out of the passenger side, limping, drenched, but not me. A version of me, clean, untouched, standing still in the road, watching the wreck burn, and then walking away, toward the dark, toward the waiting car, my car, the one I thought I'd survived in. The voicemail whispered one last thing. He never looked back. That's why you're still here. The footage stopped. The screen went dark. I looked in the mirror. The back seat was empty, but my reflection was gone. No face, no driver, just the shape of a man staring forward. I reached for the door. It didn't open, not because it was locked, but because it wasn't mine anymore. The car began to move, smooth, silent, like it knew the way, like it always had. And outside, the city faded. The lights dimmed. The road stretched forever. I tried to scream, but the sound stayed inside me, like breath held too long, like a memory that never wakes up.